Now, the word jihad itself, over here it means to strive, struggle for good. It does not mean holy war. Now, many times they proclaim the jihad upon all non-Muslims. I mean, this is a totally erroneous way of using the word, because it cannot be just proclaimed by someone or a certain individual. You can't do that. Jihad, of course, is of many levels. You have at least 3 common levels of jihad. The first is called jihad al-talab. That is like offensive jihad. Then you have the second, which is called jihad al-dafa, which is defensive jihad. And then you have what they call jihad al-nafs, which is basically a self-purification a person is to do, every Muslim is to do in his or her life, to purify themselves, to make themselves better in the sight of God, to excel in doing the good and whatever else. So these are the 3 levels that we have. So we have a personal level, a social level, and a physical level of the word jihad. Now, people at times jump the gun and go for offensive jihad. Offensive jihad is a number of conditions. It cannot be proclaimed by just anyone. And honestly, today, there is no offensive jihad. We have what happens at times, what we call defensive jihad. And everyone believes in this anyways. It's an issue of self-defense. If someone enters your home with a gun and wants to harm you or your family, you're not going to sit down and say, welcome, do whatever you want. You try your best to defend your family. That's a natural human instinct. So this is something that we have in Islam, which is common to every faith as well. The fourth, and this is the men can marry as many wives as they wish, in the issue of polygamy or polygyny. You got to understand that Islam did not invent polygamy. It was present in all previous societies, including the Bible, for example, Abraham, Jacob, Moses, and others all had more than one wife. This is something that was practiced from a very old age. But Islam regulated this practice in its present form. A man is allowed to marry 4, as Allah says over here in the Quran. Marry women of your choice, 2 or 3 or 4. But if you feel that you shall not be able to deal justly with them, then only 1. This is a key issue here. If you can't deal justly, then it becomes prohibited for you to marry more than 1. Even if a person was, for example, to take or consider a second wife, he can't just go and marry the second wife. He has to make sure that he is able to maintain both equally. You can't have one living in a palace and the other living in a shack. No. You got to give each equal in every single thing. And this is difficult as well. You've got to as well, before getting married, you look for a person who, for example, maybe a person died, leaving. A husband died, leaving his wife with 3 or 4 kids. In that case, if a person has the ability, and if he wants to get married to a second wife, this is the one he should look for a person he can support and take care of, and to give the children support as well. Islam, of course, understands the feeling of women in relation to this. It's given the woman a way to protect themselves if they don't want this to happen to themselves. A woman may simply say in the beginning of the marriage, listen, I'm going to get married to you, but you can't get married to anyone else. If that condition is put, no way can he marry someone else. He cannot. It's simply finished. That option to him is sealed off. But many a time women don't know this in Islam. It's a matter of them not knowing Islam, not knowing the rules of Islam, so they think, well, I'm stuck over here. He's getting married to a second wife. I asked them many a time myself, have you made this condition? So what condition is that? You can put this condition down. You can say to your husband, listen, I don't want you to get married to anyone else. If he agrees to that, finish. It's a binding contract. Even if it's only verbal, it's binding. So a woman has her way to protect herself. And even if the man wants to get married to a second wife, even if this condition is put there, he has to seek permission from his first wife. If the first wife says no, that's it. You can't. That's how it goes. We'll come to the end right now. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Thank you.